Election Night, directed by Ryan Scafuro, documents the reactions of people from different backgrounds and with varying views to the election of Donald Trump as president. Set in a pub, this short, raw documentary encapsulates the feeling of many around the world about the 45th President of the United States. Today, we'll look at the mode the documentary took in presenting the information, and we will discuss the content in the film and the stylistic choices made by the director. Then we will examine how all of these choices blended together to make a highly impactful film. There are 6 main modes of documentary, which all have defining stylistic choices and tell stories very differently. These are expository, observational, poetic, participatory, performative, and self-reflexive. What if the filmmaker were simply to observe what happens in front of the camera without overt intervention? This statement sums up the observational style of documentary, observing without bias or intervention what is happening at a particular point in time. Election Night definitely displays the conventions of an observational mode of documentary, which will be discussed further over the next few minutes. It also displays some conventions of expository documentary, which will help move the story forward without being obtrusive. One of the defining aspects of an observational documentary is their lack of voiceover and other tools commonly used in documentaries, such as conducted interviews and subjects breaking the fourth wall. Election Night gets the opinions of many within the pub, but they all speak in a very conversational manner and never address the camera or the filmmaker directly. This allows us to understand people's honest, unedited points of view. Observational documentaries also take a fly-on-the-wall kind of approach to storytelling. Election Night embraces this, and majority of the time, audiences see the people in the pub pouring beers, checking Facebook, or even falling asleep. It is unscripted, and it shows the night's progress in its purest form. The lighting is also entirely natural, showing the people in their ordinary environment. This is also another convention of the observatory mode, giving viewers the feeling that they are there experiencing the election night as this small group of people did. The often low-key lighting also adds to the mood of the documentary, a stylistic choice. Another convention of observational documentaries is a handheld camera. Throughout the film, almost all shots are handheld, allowing the camera to move freely, capture the action, and give audiences a feeling of immersion. The shots are often quite close to capture emotion or highlight a specific detail. This stylistic choice reflects the atmosphere of the pub, intimate and crowded. Observational documentaries are also often event-driven, which Election Night definitely was. The 2016 election made headlines around the world and caused a massive uproar. The fact that this documentary was shot in England, practically on the other side of the world, and yet people have such strong opinions adds to the impact of the film. The documentary addresses the thick tension in the air between having radical Trump supporters surrounded by Clinton fans. It does this by showing the varying opinions from different people, and even a fight breaking out later into the evening. The shaky camera movements also added to the mood created when the fight broke out. The editing is also very simple and doesn't draw attention away from the content, another convention of the observational style. There are only titles at the beginning and end, but no transitions or other obvious editing tools being used. This convinces viewers that this is exactly how the night unfolded, whether that is accurate or not. The diegetic sounds of the TV and the people talking in the pub further immerses audiences in the action. One element in the film that isn't found in observational documentaries was the titles and the light music. The title at the beginning reads, "I guarantee you this, if I do run, it won't be boring," by Donald Trump. By including this title, an expository technique, it sets up the story and provides context for the film. However, all titles throughout the film are simple and unobtrusive, purely providing the necessary information without distracting from the content. This documentary also includes some light, non-diegetic music to enhance the somber mood as people react to Trump being voted in. Although this is not an element of observational documentary, it is used effectively in conjunction of the images of people in the pub. In conclusion, Election Night is an impactful documentary that employs techniques from both observational and expository modes of documentary to its advantage. These techniques keep audiences' attention on the raw and emotional content. The stylistic choices were also simple and mainly in line with the observatory mode to create maximum effect.